Okay, namaste, and welcome to the Advaita channel. And Xavier and Atma are here with me, and I'm very grateful to both of you for coming. Because it can be a bit strange if you're reading only to yourself. So I'm very glad that you're here as well. And if there's anybody watching on YouTube, I'll be able to see your comments and just making all the boxes. Okay. Okay, and if either of you would like to say anything or speak anytime, just feel free to unmute your mic and you can speak. And if I'm reading too fast or you want me to repeat something again or something like that. So I'm reading from the Ashtavakra Gita and I'm going to start on chapter 10 because I already read chapter 1 to 9 last week. So I'm starting on chapter 10 now. And I'm just going to read this part at the beginning. It's just like inside the front cover. Just so you know what it is that I'm reading if you never heard of it before. So it says, this Gita is little known in the West, but it expresses the highest truths and embodies the philosophic thoughts of the sages Ashtavakra, Yajnavalkya and Vamadeva. It does not give an exposition of the truth by logical reasoning, but a description of the knowledge and bliss experienced by an illumined sage. Each verse is a text for meditation. The whole work has a magic of its own, which elevates and exalts the mind and grants glimpses of the transcendental region. It is by feeling and by saturating the mind in the great ideal so lyrically expressed in this poem that a man attains an intuitive vision of the truth. Namaste, Soham. Very glad that you're here as well. Soham was with me last week as well when we read chapters 1 to 9. So this week, Soham, I'm starting on chapter 10. Ashtavakra said, give up the chief enemy, desire for pleasure and for worldly prosperity, both being fraught with evil, as well as enslavement to dharma, good deeds, from which they spring. Look upon friends, possessions, wealth, mansions, wives, gifts, and other good fortune as a dream or a magic show, lasting only 3 or 5 days. Know that where desires prevail, there is the world. Cherishing feelings of steadfast non-attachment, free thyself from desire and be happy. Desire constitutes the only bondage. To be freed from it is liberation. By cultivating indifference to worldly objects, one obtains the bliss of realization. Thou art one, pure consciousness. The world is inert and unreal. Even ignorance is non-existent. Therefore, what desire canst thou cherish? In countless former births, thou wast attached to land, sons, wives, joys, bodies, and pleasures, and yet they have ended. Bring to an end wealth, desires, and good and pious deeds. They will not bring rest to thy mind in the gloomy forest of the world. How many incarnations hast thou devoted to the actions of body, mind, and speech? They have brought thee nothing but pain. Why not cease from them? I heard someone saying recently somewhere, and maybe this is like common knowledge, but it was a very good explanation for me to hear. It said that the word karma means the word karma is like action or doing. So when you're people talk about to be free of like rebirths. So if you're free of rebirths, you're free of karma. Um, and the way I pieced it together, like in my mind, was that so when you're free of believing that you're the doer, which is what Ananta often talks about in Satsang, um, um, basically just reminding us and showing us and that if we look, we're not the doer. So it means that you're not attached to doing anymore, and really you're not attached to believing that you're the doer. So I don't know what reminded me to say that. I thought it was a good explanation. I'm not very good at explaining things. Okay. Chapter 11. Ashtavakra said, one who has finally learned that it is in the nature of objects to come into existence, to change, and finally to pass away, he easily finds rest through detachment and is freed from suffering. Being convinced that Ishvara is the creator of all, and none other, one should remain serene and unattached to any object. He is ever content who is convinced that adversity and prosperity come in the fullness of time or are caused by karma. His senses are controlled, he neither desires nor grieves. Knowing for certain that joy and suffering, birth and death are the result of karma, he realizes that it is not possible to accomplish desires. He sits tranquil, and though engaged in actions, is not affected by them. Anxiety produces misery and nothing else. He who realizes this relinquishes all desires and is calm and happy. I am not the body, nor is the body mine. I am intelligence itself. He who has attained this knowledge has reached the state of the Absolute and ceases to think on what he has done and what he has not done. Verily, all is my own self, from Brahma to a blade of grass. This conviction brings freedom from desire and imagination, and gives purity and serenity. Reasoning thus, a man does not concern himself with what has been attained or what is to be attained. He who is convinced that this manifold and wonderful universe has no real existence, becomes free from desire, is pure intelligence, and finds peace in the knowledge that nothing is real. Chapter 12. Janaka said, first I relinquish physical action, then immoderate speech and thought. Now I abide in peace. Having relinquished all attachment to sound and other objects of sense, and also the self, as self is beyond perception and conception, I now remain at peace, my mind being freed from agitation and distraction. Concentration is needed when the mind is distracted by false identification. Realizing this, I abide in peace. O sage, I am not concerned with what is to be accepted and what rejected. I experience neither joy nor sorrow. Thus do I abide. I am as indifferent to the presence of the four stages of life as I am to their absence. Meditation and renunciation of the contents of the mind are likewise not for me. This is the state in which I abide. Both performance and cessation of action are notions born of nescience. Knowing this, thus do I abide. To attempt to think of the self, which is beyond the range of thought, is only to create a new thought. Abandoning such a thought, I abide in peace. Blessed is he who is established in this peace. Such a man has realized his own nature. Chapter 13. Janaka said, even a monk possessing nothing does not easily find that tranquility which is inherent in one who is free from desire for action. I have renounced both action and renunciation of action, and live happily in any state. Renouncing identification with the body, the tongue, and the mind, I have acquired that state which is above desire, fatigue, and ferment. Therefore, I abide in happiness. Realizing that the self is actionless, I do whatever presents itself and live happily. Action or inaction is for those attached to the body. Having neither association nor dissociation with it, I live in perpetual bliss. Neither good nor evil results for me from activity, rest or sleep. Therefore, I am happy, whether at rest, active, or sleep. Neither do I lose nor gain by sleeping or striving. Giving up all thoughts of loss and triumph, I live happily. The varying aspects of pleasure are subject to change under different conditions. I am happy because I have gone beyond good and evil. I'm just taking a break to have a look at you because I like looking at you. Both of you. Okay, chapter 14. Like I said the last time. So the chapters are in Roman numerals, so I can get a little bit confused about what the number is. I have to remember what chapter I said before, the one before. Anyway, it says chapter XIV, so I think it's chapter 14. Okay, Janaka said, he who has acquired vacuity of the heart, who thinks of objects only by chance, who appears as if awake, though really asleep, has verily expunged all impressions and experiences of worldly objects from his mind. My desire to live and enjoy having died out, of what use to me are wealth, friends, learning, philosophy, and those thieves, the sense objects? Having known the Supreme Self, the Witness, and the Lord, my desire for liberation and my fear of bondage have left me. The states of mind of that man whose doubts have ended, but who acts outwardly like one still in ignorance, are only understood by those who resemble him. Chapter 15. Ashtavakra said, "The pure-hearted man fulfills the supreme purpose of life through the instructions of his guru, even though they be casually imparted. The worldly-minded man studies and inquires throughout his life, yet remains unenlightened." The strongest words of our Guru Ananta are, for me, don't believe your next thought. And I know he says many things, but I just think this is so simple and so beautiful, and so practical as a like that anybody can do. Yeah, so so don't believe your next thought. And it's very easy for us to share this with other beings as well. So when we don't believe our next thought, it's very quick and easy that we can recognize how that can just keep us here with ourselves. So it's very easy for us to share that with other people around us, like from a true place, so they can see for themselves that it can be true for them as well.
Yeah, I have. Most
What did you
things you
say,
can't.
Philip?
Yeah, I said I have shared that as well.
Yeah, yeah.
Most things, you, you say something, they look at you with their eyes crossed, like, huh? But that was, you know.
Yeah, we just find ourselves sharing it like spontaneously. It just happens.
Yeah.
A distaste for the objects of sense is liberation. Attachment to those objects is bondage. This is wisdom. Now act as thou wilt. Knowledge of the imperishable essence makes a worldly active and eloquent man inactive, silent and wise. What wonder that the holy truth is shunned by those still attached to the pleasures of the world. Thou art not the body, nor does the body belong to thee, nor art thou the doer nor the enjoyer. Thou art intelligence itself, ever the witness, and free art thou. Live in bliss. And it's written with like an exclamation mark, like live in bliss. Desire and aversion are attributes of the mind. The mind does not belong to thee. Free from scheming and doubting, know thyself to be the immutable intelligence, and live in bliss. Knowing that thyself is the self of all beings, and that all beings abide in the self, released from egoity and the sense of mine and thine, live in bliss. Thou art that intelligence in which the worlds rise like waves in the sea. Be freed from the fever of duality, and live in bliss. Have faith, O darling, be not deluded. Thou art the Lord of the universe. Thou art knowledge itself. Thou transcendest nature. Verily thou art the self. The body is moved by the gunas. It comes, stays, and goes. The self neither comes nor goes. There is no cause for grief. Let the body last until the end of the world period, or perish today. Nothing can be added to or subtracted from thyself, which is pure knowledge. In thyself, the infinite ocean, the universes rise and fall of their own accord like waves. Let them rise or fall, they do not touch thee. My child, thou art pure intelligence. The world is not distinct from thee. Therefore, the thought of rejecting or accepting anything is meaningless. How can there be birth, action, or even the sense of individuality in thee, who art ever tranquil, and by nature pure intelligence? In whatever is manifest, thou alone appearest. Bracelets, armlets, and rings made of gold are not other than gold. Renounce all sense of distinction, such as I am he, I am not this. Know all to be thine own self, and free from desires, be happy. The world is the result of ignorance of thine own nature. In reality, thou alone art. There is neither Jiva nor Ishvara, nothing other than thyself. He who has fully realized that the universe is a pure illusion becomes desireless and consciousness itself. Such a one abides in peace. In the ocean of the world, one alone was, is, and will be. There is neither bondage nor liberation in thee. Live in perfect happiness, and in the consciousness that all is achieved. Do not disturb thy mind with acquiring or relinquishing anything. Abide in the bliss of thine own nature. Give up meditation. Hold nothing in thy mind. Thou art free and bliss itself. What wilt thou accomplish by thought? Okay. Chapter 16. Ashtavakra said, My child, study and discussion of different philosophies will not establish thee in the self. Forget all and be happy. O wise one, thou mayst take delight in action or in contemplation, but thy mind will still yearn for that which is beyond all objects and in which all desires are extinguished. All are afflicted by reason of their exertions. Alas, this is understood by none, but he who is wise achieves emancipation through this very teaching. That master idler to whom the opening or closing of the eyes is an infliction, to him belongs real bliss and to no other. When the mind is free from this I have done and this remains to be done, it transcends the desire for religious merit, worldly prosperity, sensual enjoyment, and also liberation. He who disdains sense objects is unattached. He who craves for sense pleasures suffers attachment. But he who neither rejects nor accepts is neither attached nor unattached. The notion of desire and aversion is born of lack of true discrimination. The root and branch of the tree of phenomenal existence is dependent on these two. Activity begets attachment. Renunciation gives birth to aversion, but the wise man lives like a child, free from the pairs of opposites. One who is attached to the world desires to renounce it in order to avoid suffering. But the sage who has no attachment does not suffer even in the world. He who has a feeling of I-ness, even for release, and retains his body consciousness, is neither a wise man nor a spiritual aspirant. His lot is suffering. Even though Shiva, Vishnu, or Brahma instruct thee, unless thou regardest the world as unreal and dismissest all sense of egoity, thou wilt not become established in thine own nature, the self. Mm. Okay, chapter 17. Okay, chapter 17. Are you both happy to hear more? Or have you had enough? You're happy? Okay, good. So, Xavier, you would like to hear some more? Your picture's stuck. Or maybe you're just very still. Okay, I'll read more. I'm enjoying very much to read this. And maybe I wouldn't read it if I didn't have the opportunity to come and read it on the Advaita channel. So I'm very grateful to be
I love
encouraged to
this.
read it.
I love
Hmm?
this text. I love this text.
Yeah, it's so beautiful. It's very nice.
Yeah.
I've read it a few times, and every time it's like new and beautiful every time. Very nice. Okay, chapter 17. Ashtavakra said, he who is always contented, who is unattached to any object, who ever enjoys solitude, he has obtained the fruit of spiritual knowledge and of the practice of yoga. The knower of truth does not suffer either inwardly or outwardly, for he knows that he alone fills the universe. No sense object ever pleases him who delights in the self, even as the elephant who delights in salaki leaves is not pleased with the leaves of the nema tree. Rare indeed is the sage who does not crave for that which he has enjoyed, and has no desire for that which he has not possessed. In the world, those who crave for mundane joys and those who crave for liberation are found. But rare is that great-souled one who cares neither for enjoyment nor liberation. It is only an enlightened man who has no attachment to righteousness, prosperity, sense delights, or even liberation, and is indifferent to life and death. Neither does the existence nor the dissolution of the universe cause him either delight or aversion. That blissful sage lives happily on whatever comes. He who has this spiritual knowledge, whose mind is absorbed in contemplation, and who is contented, lives in bliss, whether seeing, hearing, touching, smelling, or eating. Attachment and detachment are the same to him, for whom the ocean of the world has disappeared. His gaze is withdrawn from external objects. His actions are without motive. His senses are inoperative. He who is freed from the mind neither sleeps nor wakes, neither opens nor closes his eyes, but enjoys the supreme bliss under all conditions. The liberated man is ever rooted in his own nature, and is pure in heart, free from all desires under all conditions. Seeing, hearing, touching, smelling, eating, acquiring, speaking, and walking, the great-souled one above action and inaction is verily liberated. The great-souled one neither commends nor censures anyone. He is neither angry nor does he rejoice. He neither gives nor receives. He is free from attachment to objects. Whether he perceives a woman full of love or death approaching him, the great souled one remains unperturbed, rooted in his own nature. Verily, he has found liberation. The serene sage recognizes homogeneity everywhere. I don't quite know how to pronounce that word. I think it means the same everywhere. Homogeneity. Everywhere. And perceives no difference in pleasure or pain, man or woman, prosperity or adversity. For the man who is no longer bound by ignorance, the cause of birth and death, there is neither a desire to inflict injury nor to demonstrate compassion. He experiences neither arrogance nor humility, wonder nor agitation. The liberated man has no aversion for sense objects, nor does he crave for them. With his mind ever detached, he is unconcerned with what is attained and with what remains unattained. The wise man, who has acquired mental vacuity, the mind being filled with Atman alone, is not concerned with contemplation or its absence. He is established in the absolute state and has transcended good and evil. Devoid of the feeling of this is mine and this I am, and knowing for certain that nothing objective exists in reality, the knower of truth is at peace within himself. His desires having subsided, though appearing to act, in fact he does not engage in action. His mind having ceased to function and being free from delusion and inertia, the man of self-knowledge experiences the indescribable state. Chapter 18. Ashtavakra said, "Salutations to that which is bliss, peace and light, with the dawning of the knowledge of which all delusion as to the phenomenal universe passes away like a dream. Having acquired much wealth, one enjoys countless worldly pleasures, but to know true happiness one must renounce them. He whose heart is parched by the sun of affliction arising from the sense of duty experiences no happiness until his mind has acquired tranquillity. The universe is merely a mode of the mind. In reality it has no existence. Those liberated beings are surely immortal, who are identified with reality, which is self-luminous, and which needs no support for its existence, but which cognizes both existence and non-existence. The nature of the self is absolute, immutable, taintless. It is not distant, nor is it subject to attainment, being ever attained. This is truth. In those who have cognized the self, illusion is dispelled, and the light of pure consciousness shines through them. Their distress is at an end, and they live in bliss. The wise know that all that is not the self is merely a movement of the mind. Being liberated, they live as a child lives. Having finally realized that the self is Brahman, and that existence and non-existence are imagined, what should such a one, free from desires, know, say, or do? All such ideas as this I am and this I am not end in the conviction that all is the self. Realizing this, the yogi becomes silent. For the yogi who has become inwardly calm, there is no distraction, no concentration, no increase or decrease of knowledge, no joy and no grief. The dominion of heaven or indigence, profit or loss, society or solitude are the same to the yogi who has realized his nature to be free from all conditions. The yogi who has transcended dualistic reasoning such as "this I have done and this still remains to be done" sees no significance in ritual, material prosperity, sense enjoyment or discrimination. The yogi who is liberated, while yet in life, has no further duties to perform, nor is his heart attached to anything. His actions in this world are appearances only. The yogi who has passed beyond the region of desires finds no significance in phenomena, in the universe, in contemplation on that, or in liberation. He who sees reality in the universe may try to negate it. Not so the Mahatma who has rooted out all desires. Not seeing, he appears to see. He who has known Brahman meditates on, "I am Brahman." What should he who sees no duality meditate upon? He who is conscious of distraction practices self-control. The illumined sage, having nothing further to accomplish, has no need of self-discipline. Though the man of spiritual knowledge appears to act like others, in fact he does not do so, for he sees no necessity for samadhi, nor does he perceive distraction or any taint in his own essence. Free from desire, he is neither conscious of existence nor non-existence of the world, but is ever satisfied and wise. Though appearing to act, nothing is done by him in reality. He who experiences the supreme bliss of his own nature, and whose mind is ever tranquil and pure, he has no need to renounce, nor does he feel the lack of anything in himself. The mind of the sage does not give rise to the modifications of concentration, distraction, or prejudice. His actions are not subject to any code, nor is he affected by honor or dishonor. He who by right knowledge has transcended the world of appearance, for him there is neither joy nor sorrow. With a serene mind he lives as one unrelated to his body. He whose delight is in the self, and who is consequently serene and pure, has no desire to renounce anything, nor does he feel any lack anywhere. He who has acquired the natural state of vacuity of mind may act as he pleases. He is not affected by honor or dishonor as are ordinary men. One who acts in conformity with such pure thoughts as, "The body is the actor and not the self," though appearing to act, does not act. The liberated sage acts apparently without motive or purpose, and may be regarded as a fool, but in reality he has transcended action. Although appearing as happy and blessed in the world, verily he has gone beyond it. The wise man, weary of reasoning, who has attained supreme peace, neither thinks nor knows, nor hears nor sees. That man of peace, beyond distraction and contemplation, is neither an aspirant for liberation, nor is he bound. Knowing the universe to be an illusion, though perceiving it, he remains in the absolute state. Namaste, Pekka. Pekka is watching from YouTube. You're listening while driving. That's good. I'm very happy to be in your car with you on your journey. Wherever you're going. He who still retains his egoism is mentally active even when at rest. But the wise man who is free from egoism is incapable of sin or wrong action. The mind of the freed sage is unmoved by trouble or pleasure. It is inactive, static and desireless, and also free from doubts. The mind of the sage is free from effort, whether meditating or acting. His actions and meditations are not prompted by personal motives. An ignorant man is bewildered on hearing the spiritual truth, but a wise man, on hearing the truth, withdraws his consciousness within himself, even though he appears like a fool outwardly. Those unaware of the truth practice concentration and discipline, but the wise, who have found the infinite Atman within their own self, are ever satisfied and recognize no further cause for action. Whether he lives a life of action or withdraws from the world, the ignorant man does not find spiritual peace, whereas the Gnostic discovers the truth and so becomes happy forever. Though relying on different practices, men do not recognize the self, which is intelligence itself, ever pure, beloved, perfect, transcending the changing universe, and free from any conditions. An ignorant man does not attain liberation through repeatedly practicing concentration, whereas that blessed one, through spiritual knowledge, is ever free and devoid of all activity. The ignorant man does not realize Brahman, because he still desires to know him, implying that he is separate from him. The wise man, however, realizes the nature of the supreme Brahman without desiring him. Without the foundation of real knowledge, the ignorant yearn for liberation, but do not achieve it. The wise, having transcended ignorance by truth, sever the root of all misery. Hey, this is a very long chapter. Because I was thinking I was going to read to the end of this chapter, but I think we might be finished now. Because there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. These are pages. 9, there's 10 more pages. So I think I'm going to finish there mid-chapter for today, and I'll fold the page so I can start in the same place again the next one. So thank you so much for being here with me when I'm reading the Ashtavakra Gita. It's very beautiful to have you with me.
Thank you, Amba.
Thank you so much. Yes, thank you so much. And thank you, Pekka and Xavier, and also to any people who might be watching like the recorded version. Would you like to just stay together for a couple of minutes so in silence?
Sure.
And if you feel like saying anything, you can.
Me?
Yes, you.
No.
Do you ever sing?
Not well.
Well, that's just a matter of opinion.
When I get my own place, then maybe I'll sing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like your voice is very nice. Like just when you talk, it's already like music.
You know, people have asked me if I was Irish.
Really?
I don't know why. I don't sound Irish. They go from Irish to Canadian to, oh yeah, you're American.
Where are you from? You're from America? I don't know.
I'm from the US.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but I live in Cornwall in the UK.
You know, sometimes when you know people, you just hear their voice and you maybe some part of you knows that it sounds like it has an accent, but you kind of forget that and you don't think that their accent is from somewhere. It's just your voice and your accent and how you look and all. It's all part of like the same thing, you
Yeah,
know.
yeah. Well, when I get into my own place and I have privacy as they say here,
Mm,
I will I will give it a go sometime.
mm, mm.
I enjoy yours. You have a great voice.
I don't know about that, but I do like singing.
Yeah.
I used to have a lot of resistance to singing. Like I had a
Really?
thought, you know, that I was really bad at singing or something. I don't know, I can't really remember properly, but um maybe about 3 years ago, I was like going through this phase of my life where I was going, what'll I do with my life? Ah, you know, this kind of common thing. And I thought like I just want to sing and I just want to sing to God, that's all I want. And I said, okay, so let's like sing to each other for the whole day tomorrow. So like we woke up the next day and we sang to each other for the whole day. Like,
Wow.
good morning, how are you? Just like so everything that we'd normally speak, we just sang instead. And it was very good because it helped us, well, it helped me to like get over like a lot of judgments about singing. Because I noticed that when I was singing, there was all these thoughts and judgments coming into my mind saying, you know, this sounds terrible and this is boring and you're not like it just it I don't know, all these basically judgment thoughts, but I was just singing anyway, you know, so it's
Yeah.
basically like just continuing to do as you do but not listening to the thoughts about it. Um yeah, it was very good.
What's like probably one of the greatest ideas that, and that is sad, is to have these broadcasts and have people, in satsang to be live like this and be
Yeah,
on camera. It gets you over yourself so fast.
it does. Because life is
It's great.
satsang really, if you want it to be. Everything is
Yeah,
satsang, you know.
yeah.
It's because it's just like awareness, like to just be like aware of yourself. But when we started coming on camera, maybe I don't know a few months ago on Ustream, I remember being
Yeah.
very like awkward and uncomfortable, and now I don't mind anymore at all.
Yeah. Well, I knew it didn't help that I knew that the audio, well, the audio, especially on the PC, was horrible,
Mm,
and it makes tons of noise.
mm,
The computer does, and
mm.
so right from the get-go, I'm thinking about this is just it's not good. The equipment's not good, and
Yeah,
so then you have to get over that. But now with the phone,
yeah, it's
it's
very good.
it's just natural. Feels
Yeah,
natural.
yeah. Mm, mm.
There's so much talent in the Sangha. Such good singers.
Yeah.
You know, you and Zoe and Devika and
Mm.
Liz. Who else sings? Maya. Everyone sings. Oh, and
I think everyone can sing. I don't believe anyone if they say they can't sing because if you can speak, you can sing.
yeah,
Because if
somebody
you
told
say
me
I'm not a good
that.
singer, it's just a judgment, isn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah, yeah.
Like,
I had a very good singer tell me that one time.
mm,
She said everyone can sing. You could learn
yeah,
to sing really, really great if you just wanted to.
mm. And it's not even about great. It doesn't matter. Like nobody expects everybody to be like brilliant at everything, you know. So
Yeah.
like it doesn't matter if you sing like really badly. I feel like I don't know if it's the same for everyone, but somehow like for me singing it's very closely related to heart. I don't know why, or I don't know if it's the same for everyone. Mm, mm,
Yeah, it comes through too.
mm,
In the, you can tell that it's from your heart.
mm. I'm going to sing a song now. All that talk about singing.
Okay, I'll mute myself. You sing.
Okay. I don't know very many songs, like the words. So the ones that I do know don't have very many words. That makes it easier. And so, even though we can't hear you, you're welcome to sing along in your room. Om Anandamayi Chaitanyamayi Satyamayi Parameshwari 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 Satyamayi Parameshwari Satyamayi Parameshwari. Thank you so much.
Thank you. It's about Amanda Maima, huh?
Not really, but like the words mean Anandamayi means full of bliss.
Yeah.
Anandamayi, what's the next word? Anandamayi. I can't remember the words. Why? How did that happen? What are the words again?
Just like
Anandamayi is full of bliss.
And then Chaitanya was.
Oh yeah, Chaitanyamayi means full of consciousness, and Satyamayi means full of truth. Parameshwari is
like
the great you, the great self, the great Lord of. So it's basically just like singing to God and saying, "You're full of truth and full of bliss and full of consciousness and life."
Beautiful.
Yeah, it's very nice.
You.
Thank
you
you
for the song.
Thank you. Satguru Anantaji ki Jai. Jai. Satguru Mujiji ki Jai. Satguru Sangha ki Jai.
Jai.
Thank you so much. Thank you for watching, and thank you for being here with me, Sohan, and Xavier, and Pekka.
Love you too. Thank you.
Love you so much. Thank you.
Bye. Oh.
Bye.
Bye.